Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. If it feels like you just woke up from a super long nap, rest assured you're not alone. We have been in this very deep cosmic sleep, so to speak, for the last couple of weeks during Mercury retrograde, and it's been a pretty doozy of a Mercury retrograde cycle with a lot of incentive or inner drive for momentum, but the inability to really move forward in the way in which we kind of hoped to in our heads. Some of you may have experienced radically unexpected events that rocked your world, that shook your foundation. Some of you may have just literally felt like you couldn't get anything started, that there was just a real big hitch in your giddy up. Yesterday, with the Aries new moon, Mercury began its forward station again, giving us the beginning, and I say beginning quite deliberately, the beginning surge for momentum that actually has the possibility to catch on, for us to actually be able to start to make some progress now. But I say start because it's an interesting energy that is part of being an evolutionary being, or part of being in an evolutionary cycle. The energy of the sun is in the third hexagram, which is an energy that is deeply associated with mutation. This is actually where we have genetic mutation in the human energy system, and it's the place where we carry the theme of innovation. And it's innovation that, to a certain degree, has a certain innocence associated with it. If you think about people who have really been innovative in the world, these are people who, to a certain degree, are deaf, right, to the idea that what they're dreaming of is impossible. There's a certain innocence to it. It's kind of like, you ever had kids who are like 4, right, and they're putting together their Santa Claus wish list for Christmas, and the kid comes out at 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve and says, "Oh, and I want a hamster," and you're the parent trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to tell this kid, right? There's an innocence, right, in that creative process of that 4-year-old that absolutely genuinely embraces the idea that anything and everything is possible, including the idea that Santa could bring you a hamster at 9 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve, right? That's the quality of the creative capacity of that third hexagram. There's an innocence here. There's a innocence that actually supports us in being truly innovative, because that innocence, that unwillingness to look at what's possible as a limitation, allows us to go forward into very new frontiers, very new territories. And certainly I would say for all of us personally and even collectively, this week we embark on the beginning steps of a journey that takes us into entirely new frontiers, entirely new possibilities. So I certainly would invite you this week, as you contemplate the end of this sort of cosmic slumber that we've been experiencing, for you to really ask yourself, where do you need to innovate in your life? Where do you need to bring change? Where perhaps do you need to stop believing in the impossible, stop even hearing other people's judgments of your dreams or judgments of your possibility, and create what is truly in alignment with the fullest, highest expression of what you want to do and who you want to be in the world. And this week, I actually literally want you to write this down somewhere. This week is the week when you get started. This is the week when you take that first big, bold step. Even if you're only taking that step in consciousness, even if you're only taking the step of lining up right mind, right awareness, right feeling, and then ultimately right action. Do those things in order, right? Once you get, this is the week when you really start lining up to create the seemingly impossible, to bring the things that you've been thinking about or rethinking, to bring those things into form, and to not let the old limitations, the old ideas, the questions that maybe you had about your value, that feeling that maybe you're not enough, maybe you don't have enough, maybe you aren't worthy, maybe you don't trust yourself, all of that old stuff. Done. Wipe the slate clean. We're moving into a place where the way in which we used to do things, the way in which we created, the old ideas, the old models aren't working anymore. And so what was impossible before maybe isn't so impossible now. And certainly I would say this is your turn to be on the leading edge of creating new possibilities, new frontiers for yourself starting this week. Again, you might not have to take a lot of action this week. This isn't necessarily going to be the best week yet for pushing forward with action, but certainly a time to get bold with the way you think about yourself and what you allow yourself to create. It's a time for you to get bold with what you perceive as possible for yourself and for your reality, and to not sell yourself short, to not compromise because of the things that didn't work out in the past. That's over. And it's time for you to craft and continue to rewrite the story that you tell about yourself, what's possible for you in your direction. And this is the week, as I said, start taking bold steps this week. Draw a line, a metaphorical line in the sand of your life and say, last week I let the seemingly impossible stop me. This week, I know that as I craft a direction forward, I am willing now to embrace the seemingly impossible as a probable manifestation of my reality, and I will not allow the pain, the past, the patterns, the limitations, anything in the past that didn't work, I won't let it hold me back anymore. That's the credo, the manifesto, the mantra that I want you to embrace for this week, so that you can continue or begin this powerful journey forward, this powerful journey that ultimately will allow you to innovate, not only in your own life, but to innovate out in the world. We have, as I said, we have been in this powerful cycle of rethinking. We are still in this powerful cycle of rethinking. We are collectively rethinking the entire world, and everything and anything right now is subject to redefinition, including your own path, your own life story, and everything else around it. We are rethinking, how do we govern ourselves? How do we run our economy? How do we create right relationship? How do we create community? How do we create money? What do we need to do to take care of our health? How do we take care of each other? How do we control what's going on in the environment so that we are able to be sustainable in an equitable way, in a peaceful way on the planet? These are the questions we're collectively grappling with, and we can't find or allow the answers to find us until we ourselves are willing to embrace the idea that the impossible is absolutely possible, and we start first by allowing ourselves to believe that in our own personal reality. So, dream the impossible dream this week. Stay in the place of innocence and awe. Own your value. You are worthy of creating perhaps beyond anything you dreamed possible for yourself. You deserve it. You are more than enough. Let go and let yourself start creating this week. It's time. Have a great week.